In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your bellows on your inner tie rod on your Hyundai Accent 1.6 liter. It's located behind your front wheel. Using a 21mm socket, I'm going to take off the front wheel. All right, you're going to want to mark the thread where this nut is on your tie rod for alignment purposes to get it somewhat close to where it was when you took it off. All right, so we are going to unjam our jam nut on our tie rod. First, and then we are going to undo our nut on our tie rod end. All right, so now you're going to use some wire cutters, and we're going to take out this cotter pin. I usually grab it by the head of it and then use my wire cutters to pry it out. All right, so now we're going to take this nut off. All right, so now I'm going to hit right here, and that should come out like that. All right, so now that we know that we've unjammed our jam nut, we're going to rotate our tie rod end out, and we're going to count the amount of turns, full turns. So 1, 2, and so on and so on. So that way when we install it, we know how many threads to count going back on. And that keeps the alignment correct for the toe. So that was about 16, and I always make a little note for myself since my memory is not the best. All right, so now we're going to undo this clamp. It's like a pinch clamp on the other side of the bellows of the tie rod. I'm going to use my flathead screwdriver, my long, wide one, and I'm just going to jam it in there and try to open that up to get this clamp off. Don't worry about breaking this off. We're going to just replace it with a zip tie. Okay, I'm using a 15mm wrench to hold the inner tie rod. I'm going to take this nut off using my 24mm wrench if needed. I'm sure some of you will just have a nut that spins off by hand. So we have marked it, so we're all set over there. But we got to take this nut off in order to get the bellows down and off, so that we can disconnect the inner tie rod. Okay, put that off to the side. Now I'm going to squeeze this clamp and take it off the bellow using some channel locks. Also got to make sure this is free. Sometimes they get stuck. All right, take that off. And now we're going to pull this down. And I'm shoving a pickup in there because it's stuck. There we go. All right, so now we're going to put some grease right here so that when the bellows is on there, it can be rotated. Okay, so I'm going to put my zip tie in there first, and now I'm going to put my bellows on. All right, so we're going to attach the zip tie around the other end so it's secure and doesn't slide off. Once you get it on, you're going to zip tie it tight. You're going to cut off the excess of the wire tie. Okay, so make sure your bellows is where it belongs, in that little notch. Mine, I gotta pull down a little bit. Gotta hold it in place. And then when you zip tie this, make sure it's not too tight. You just wanna hold it in place, but you still wanna allow the tie rod to move when you're doing an alignment. Okay, so let's just check. And so that spins, but it's also not going anywhere. All right, once you get your zip tie on there, you're just gonna cut the excess off. All right, so I'm gonna put on my nut. I have it marked on my inner tie rod where it should stop. It is about there. And we're also gonna count our threads, or should I say count the rotations that this goes around. So starting here, we're going to count to where I put my number, 16. So 1, 2, and that is 16. So now I'm just going to line my nut up and make sure that my marking makes sense. Which it does. So now we can install that into the knuckle. All right, so after you have your tie rod threaded on, you're going to attach it to your knuckle. All right, sometimes you got to move this a little bit to get it in. What you do, now we can start our nut. We're going to tighten that down and torque it. All right, I'm going to use a 16mm socket. Tighten up this nut. It's going to be torqued to 25 foot-pounds. All right, we're going to see if our cotter pin hole lines up with the castle nut, which it does. If it doesn't, you're going to tighten it, not loosen it. There we go. After you get your cotter pin in, and take the top, the longer one, and pull that over. And you can pull the other piece around the nut. Okay, so now we're going to just tighten our jam nut using a 24mm wrench. And now you can put your wheel back on, and I recommend getting an alignment. All right, we'll put our wheel on. Start our lug nuts by hand. Using a 21mm socket, we're going to tighten up our lug nuts in a crisscross manner. Going to walk the wheel on. And then we'll torque them. Using a 21mm socket, we're going to torque our wheels to 80 foot-pounds. The specification is 65 to 80, and I'm going to go with the top. You're going to do this in a crisscross pattern.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.